Guys, having a good country is one of the most underrated wins in life. It's such a win. It's, I think it's part of human need. It's a need in life because when you have a very good country, the world is literally yours. If your country, your own country is good, the world is yours. I was at the gym yesterday and I saw these two guys and personally speaking, I'm not like the most social butterflies, but I like to talk to people. It's nice. So I saw the first dude. I needed someone to spot me. So I spoke to this dude. I'm like, oh, hello, what up? How you doing? Shook his hand. Then I was with some other guy and I spoke to the other guy. Then now I saw a video on TikTok that said something about knife violence in Woolwich, and I'm currently living in or at Woolwich. I'm not saying they're gangsters, but how on earth do I know if they're gangsters or not? Because apparently most gangsters are black people or they're black guys and they look very muscular but it's the James, it's not that deep. And I'm not the kind of because I'm trying to deconstruct this racism or stereotypical thingy in my brain because lately I feel like when I say black person or a black youth, I actually just see them as a criminal. Like I say black person now these days and I just feel like that person might be a criminal. Which is crazy because I'm black. So why on earth am I seeing black people? I'm seeing fellow black people and I'm thinking they are criminals or they might be criminals. So I'm like, you know what, fuck this shit. I have to talk to these niggas because these are my I want to say mandems because their mandems is probably gangster language or something, but like these are like guys. So I said hi to them and I saw a video now on TikTok about on BBC adverts that says some dude was a gangster in Woolwich and was stabbing people and all that. And I live in Woolwich, so like, did I just greet gangsters? Would they probably try to recruit me? I don't know. Now I'm like a bit nervous. I'm being honest. I'm like scared, but I'm like, okay, now I've got to like raise an eyebrow, which is different because in Nigeria, you check my YouTube channel, you see my gyms. I'm always talking to niggas at my gym. It's like, how can you not talk to niggas at the gym? Gym is like one of the coolest places you can meet guys and make friends because you guys are already sharing a hobby. Like you are meeting people that you're sharing a hobby. You're meeting people that are dedicated, that are consistent enough to be showing up to work on their body. And trust me, if you're a person that goes to the gym consistently, you already know that that kind of person is a person that can be dedicated to certain thing. So meeting people at the gym is amazing. Meeting girls at the gym, amazing. Like the most painful part of this. Okay, before it was the girl that was the most painful part of this because I felt like that was a huge loss to me because I saw this girl, bro. This girl is hot as fuck, bro. Before leaving for the UK, my dad gave me a pep talk to just mind my business and be by myself and not talk to people unless I need to talk to people. So it's like, okay, I'm just gonna. I can check that out on my YouTube channel. So it was like I just needed to just mind my business. I'm like, bro, like after leaving the gym, my heart, I felt like my heart was melting. I felt so sad. So I felt like I was traumatized. But now, seeing a gangster or hearing that there are gangsters in my neighborhood or the neighborhood that I'm living is a whole lot more heartbreaking than not talking to a girl because now I feel like my safety is at risk. And what if I had just made contact with potential criminals and gangsters that might want to recruit me? I'm a soft boy, bro. I'm like, and the thing in the UK, the thing about the UK is once you're a black person, you are automatically seen as a potential criminal, regardless of your background or the kind of upbringing you have. Like, nigga, I'm Israel, bro. I'm a soft boy. My mom puts my food in my food flask. That's the kind of person I am. That's the kind of boy I am. I'm not. I'm listening to Travis Scott and like King Von and shit, but like that's just music, bro. It's just melody and it's like poetry in music form. Like it's storytelling. It's not actual reality for me. It's not like I want to go and start killing people, stabbing people, or like shooting guns. Like niggas can do like, but like it's like just like you do. It's the difference is what if a white boy does like gangsters and shit wherever like that. It's like might not be a gangster, but if you're a black person, it's like, oh, this is like a 90%, there's a 90%. I was gonna say 70%, but I think it's a 90% chance this person is a gangster. Like, oh my goodness, bro. This will never happen if I was in Nigeria. First, in Nigeria, I don't even think that gangsters anywhere because I've never seen a gangster before in my life. But I hear of Egbon Agberos, all these Agbero guys, but like those are like extremely rural areas. I never even saw any in the trenches I lived in. But then again, the trenches I lived in, I only lived there till I was 10 years old. So, but even when I went back there to make a video, if you check it on my YouTube channel, you don't see any gangster or Agbero there. It's just an underdeveloped area. That is all compared to the current estates that my parents are living in, which is more developed, and that is just like based on social economic class. That is trenches because people there are not making money. Estates because people are making more money. It's not because there are gangsters or there's violence there. Like, it's so different. Trenches in Nigeria and trenches there is different, bro. And I know people say violence and crime is in Nigeria, but I swear to God, I've never experienced any violence or crime in Nigeria. Even my parents told me, oh, don't go out at night and whatnot. But most times, like, not most times, but a couple of times I've gone out and gotten back home at 11, 10 p.m. without shit happening to me. But I'm not saying I should take that for granted. But what is the moral lesson? I'm not saying that first. I'm not saying that I should take that for granted. But all I'm saying is that I barely see gangsters or hoodlums in my area. Or since I've been in Nigeria for 23, 24 years, I never saw gangsters or hoodlums. And to be fair, though, in the UK, I've never seen gangsters or hoodlums. Even when I see those black guys here, I don't see them as gangsters or hoodlums. I just see them as people that have been socially programmed based on their socio-economic group and their because they're children are easily influenced by what they have access to. And if you have access to a particular certain category of people, then that is the kind of people that starts to influence you. So if you're a black person here and you live around black people, you are more inclined to act like the people you are surrounded with because all of them dress the same, bro. They dress the same. They literally walk the same. But then again, I know that it's because the UK programs your mind. But apart from mind programming, when I was in Nigeria, too, I also feel like it's not about the UK programming, the human mind. The human mind is easily programmed and adaptable to wherever geographical region or location there are. Even within that geographical region, so in biology, there's something called ecosystem. Like there's ecology, then there's ecosystem, then I think there are biomes, then there's a niche. So like in your ecosystem, even in your ecosystem, the niche in your ecosystem affects your identity as a person. So the niche that they are in as a black person are not just their location, but even their skin color and the people that they have access to talk to and to relate to also affects everything about their persona or their identity. So in marketing, there's something called customer persona or your customer avatar, which is a description of the characteristics of the person that you're trying to sell to. So with this description of the characteristics, these black children or black people, they have like a stereotypical description that just automatically sticks to or automatically comes out as a form of narration that this is who they are, even if they are not that kind of person, even if they dress like that customer persona or that customer avatar and they are not even that kind of person at all. Number one is that the biggest factor is that as long as they have melanin in their skin, they've been seen like that. And then if they now dress like the way they dress, bro, you're fucked up. Like based on what I've experienced and what I've noticed. Now the moral lesson is if all the black people in this country actually were in Nigeria, although they might not have access to good roads and electricity and good credit, but their standard of life, their standard of living might reduce, but their standard of life will increase. Oh my God, that is so deep. So their standard of living, like being able to go to Tesco or Costco or buy something online to deliver it to your house, standard of living like easy access to bus and all that, electricity, standard of living would definitely drop drastically. But their standard of life, being surrounded by their own people and people that understand their story, although they might not understand their story in the narrative of the stereotypical belief or when they are in a foreign country, but they understand their story as a fellow black person because then you're surrounded with people that are your own kind. So if they were living in their own country, their standard of life would drastically increase. And the difference is standard of living can easily be controlled. If you have good government and everyone is trying to do the right thing, the standard of living can increase. Electricity, now let's get electricity if the budget is allocated and they use the allocation to do the right thing. But your standard of life is the most crazy thing in life because that is actually your life. That is the quality of the value of your human existence on the Milky Way galaxy. So if you have the greatest standard of living, but you have a terrible standard of life, it's pointless because what do you mean you have access to good road electricity, you're eating good food and all that, but you're a very miserable a sadistic person that you've never really experienced true love and you've never been in a situation whereby you are genuinely cared for and like you can just come out and like smile and like you breathe in and then you don't feel like you're in chains. Like I was posting videos this morning of where I was in the University of Ibadan. I was just talking to girls like different. Enoch came to my house. Enoch is like my childhood. I won't say friend. He's more like my brother. He's my baby boy because we grew up in the same estate. Although seeing Enoch now makes me realize that then he was like my brother. Now he's like my friend because age group factor is very different. Then when I was in when I was in secondary school, it was in primary school. Then when I was in university, it was in secondary school. So, but now he's already serving now. He's already working, and I'm like working too. And then I'm 28 and he's like 21. So it's like, oh, before the age gap felt very different. Even right now, 7 years is quite a lot, but it feels it doesn't feel that much of an age gap compared to now because then it was like Enoch is my baby boy. Like Enoch and I will stand on like well, we lived in the estate together and the estate there were very much people in the estate. So Enoch and I will stand on sand or this heap of sand because it's a developing area, so they were building houses. So we stand on this heap of sand and in the entire estate there were like maybe like 10 houses, maybe like not like in the entire estate, but like in our own like in our own like estates zone, like our own zone. They were like just 10 houses, like and it's a very big place with so many bushes, and they were always like burning those bushes to like build houses. So some people just burn a bush, but they will never build houses. So someone like or during like drought period, so when we have sticks, so now can I will break sticks and we'll be fighting sword on heap of sand, like fighting sword and everything. And then there were this other family, Nifemi and Shay, those were like small girls, but like they were tiny little girls when I was there. And then they were 20, like Nifemi is Enoch's age group and she is like a little bit younger. And then those girls, I'll go to their house, I'll be playing hide and seek with them. Then I'll go to their house and I'll be telling them stories, all these story because my mom used to tell my sister and I a lot of stories growing up. So I'll go to their house, tell them stories and all that. And then every Sunday Femi, when I was with Enoch the other day, and she said she doesn't remember, I was like, that's just bullshit, that's cap. But I think she was just shy. But you know, growing up in that environment, although we're black and we're living in that kind of neighborhood, not like a very elite neighborhood, but right now it is now kind of elite because it was a developing era and more rich people came into that zone. But and this is where I'll tell you that the greatest investment, not the greatest, one of the greatest investments in life is real estate. Buy land in like a very nice area, especially government areas that the government has a plan for. When it develops, and the kind of caliber that will come there. Because the truth is, the kind of caliber of people you surround yourself with, or if you're an adult watching this, kind of caliber of people you surround your children with at their early stage of growth will shape the rest of their lives, literally and in the whole entirety. Because the only reason why I grew up to be, I won't say I'm the coolest guy, but the reason why I'm not, I'm cooler than, I won't say I was cooler than the way I was in the trenches, but the reason why I didn't grow up terrible or lame is because when we moved to the estate, the people that started coming to the estate were like all these politician kids or people that their parents were working professional jobs like doctors. And then, although and I'm not belittling my dad because my dad is a trader, but I mean, that man has a very good structure and plan. So that's good. It's good to have a very good structure. And that's what I've realized I need in my life. I need structure. But growing up in that kind of era and then going to like schools whereby you meet a certain caliber of people, it really shapes your life, especially when you are a child. And the difference is that people here, the black ones especially, because those are my people, they are at a huge disadvantage because they are not surrounded by their own type. They are surrounded by their type, but by different types, and they are not even really in control of the society that they are living in. So no matter what, breaking out of that confinement as a race is close to impossible. That is scary. And the greatest thing we can do right now is if we can just develop Nigeria and then they go back to Nigeria. Because I was telling a guy that stays here, Emmanuel, that he needs to visit Nigeria. Although he needs to visit Nigeria, I was also just realizing it now that he won't really have that experience that I have because I grew up in Nigeria, and so like I have a reference point. So I grew up in Nigeria as a reference point, childhood and everything. Then I lived here, then for like 3 years, and I saw like the way black people live and everything. And then even living in this current house and living in this and living with these kids made me realize that, bro, being black in this country is fucked up. It's fucked up, bro. You have access to the lowest of the lows. It's like they're literally trying to keep you down. That is fucked up. Like, you guys, although your quality of although your standard of living is relatively not, yeah, it is relatively because if you meet some people living in Lagos and Abuja, the standard of living is quite okay. But then again, it's not really okay because if your if your house or your street is fine and you have electricity in your street and house and the entire neighborhood around you is shit, then it is your house and your neighborhood is still shit. That's just the truth. And that's what the black man needs to think. That's what the black man needs to realize. But then again, I would still say, and I would die on this valley, on this hill, that it is still, what do they call it? It's still an effect of colonialism. All these things are just symptoms of colonialism because colonialism is not something that is surface level. Do you know what it means for you to be a slave for 100 years? Being a slave rips you into shreds. It devalues you as a human being. Your mentality, your psychology, your self-esteem, everything about you becomes absolutely, it goes into, I don't want to say oblivion, like they strip it out of you. Like it's like you become less of a human being. And then I was even reading that, and that is for Africans. So that's even for Africans. Now think of the ones that are colonized, that they will now remove them from their houses and brought them here. And then and then the thing is, all this kind of these things gets passed down in recessive genes. So it's like, imagine, this is where I'm a bit emotional because I feel like crying a bit, but imagine putting you in a confinement and then looking at you like a zoological animal as a human being. That is so unfair. But like, and then that's, it's like a form of trauma that they cannot escape it. And black people don't even go for therapy. So, and then it's something that will keep going from generation to 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 generation. And they will never really deal with it because there's also that slavery that is just like, oh, as long as I make it out. Because even here too, everybody's so confined to their own, like, oh, come on, let me just be by my own self. Because if black people are even scared of black people because it's like, oh, what if this black person is a gangster or is a hoodlum? I mean, think about it. Those guys did not do anything gangster related. Okay, now I'm thinking of, okay, the other guy had dreads and he has tattoos, but that is not a qualification of you being a gangster. But now I'm already kind of feeling that he might be a gangster. And that is how social programming works. Because if I see a white person, the same, or even if it was a white boy that did the same video, I won't think the white people I spoke to at the gym, if we ever talked to white people at the gym, or let's say the scenario was reverted and it was white people, I won't think it is white people I don't think those white people are gangsters or they are potential being a gangster. But now I'm thinking, what if those guys are gangsters? That's how it works. And that is me as a black person. Now think of another race that already sees itself as a superior race to you. I mean, this is my own Nakamana. These are my own brethren. These are my own people. Now think of somebody that thinks of themselves superior to you. Do you know how much over an insignificant creature they will see you as, and then they are even still trying to like keep you in a form of confinement, and not just in a social confinement, even psychologically, mentally, emotionally, financially, and in every form of aspect. They're still trying to keep you in that form of confinement, bro. There's no escape. I was thinking of Travis Scott's escape plan just now. There's no escape plan, bro. The escape plan is just going back to your country, and even when you go back to your country, how do you escape? Man. What's the moral lesson of this video? Moral lesson of this video is fuck. There's no moral lesson. No, I'm just a loser because how do I say all these things without actually now coming up with a solution? Solution is education. But I don't even think, yeah, it is education because people just need to be refined, and but then you cannot really. One thing I've realized as an educator now is after, not for a fact, but from the age of 17, formal education, fine, you can teach people 2 plus 2, they can like give them advanced calculus, but trying to give them that education of renewing their mind and their mentality at the age of 17 becomes extremely difficult because people then become stuck in their ways, and that's why you try to reform a gangster or a criminal, but they will always go back to their old pattern because it's already, it has become something that they are used to. It has become part of their flow. Oh, Lord have mercy. I was going to make this for TikTok, but then 2020, how do I start talking, and then next thing is 20 minutes, bro. I just wanted to talk for like 3 minutes, but that was good. Anyways, thanks for watching. Like and subscribe.